combination is working for yourself and Facebook Marketplace because you have a lot of freedom in your schedule. So I'm down in Eagleville, Tennessee right now, based on an ad I saw on Facebook Marketplace for this old house that we think was built around 1890 or so. It used to be a hotel and it had a fish pond on the roof. And as you can see, they're redoing it and the buyers don't want any of the old stuff. I want all the old stuff. So I'm here with my friend Angie picking through piles to figure out what I can use in my new build. As I've explained before, I'm doing moving the pole barn soon and building a new barn. And I want, when you're on my property, to feel like you are back in time. So this has been an absolute treasure find. Clawfoot tub, I'm not taking this one. So the house, the ceilings were 12 feet, which is enormous. And I bought this thing, I don't even know what it would be called. You know, it's like a wagon wheel, and I'm going to use it to separate kind of the home part of the barn from the barn part of the barn. And it comes with 2 French doors. Now, it's too tall for the ceilings that I have in mind, but hopefully my builder can figure out a way to use it. And how special is that? I'm so excited. So I bought all of these porch materials. You've got posts, they're rotted a little bit on each end, but they're tall enough where they can be trimmed. And then all of this really cool gingerbread. I'm not sure quite what I'm gonna do with it, but it's old, it's authentic, it's beautiful. So I bought this. So we've loaded up almost everything for salvage day 1. Got our drop leaf table, a whole bunch of doors. This here is a desk that is why I came up here on Facebook Marketplace, and Mark put a metal on top. This he thinks was maybe built in the 1930s. I've got a leaded glass window, all sorts of really, really incredible stuff. Here's the pole barn right now that I'm using to hold all of the finds. I'll call them the treasures. So I need to get off Facebook Marketplace once and for all. All right, right here, these were old windows that were in the barn that I had taken down, that was on the property. A lot of them were broken, a lot of the wood is rotted. There are a couple I may be able to use. It's got that old wavy glass, but we'll see. Here, I was just spent this morning down in Eagleville. There was a farmhouse that was built in the late 1800s, and the new owners didn't want any of the old stuff. So this was this really interesting piece that was taken out of the hallway. It's 6 feet wide. You got these French double doors. It just was so unique. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with it, but I had to get it. And this here is a pile of doors, some from the Eagleville find, and also there was another guy up in Bowling Green, Mark, who I found on Facebook Marketplace, who had just a trove of old doors. I mean, look at this patina, you know, these old knobs and that kind of detail. And this is a heavy door. I mean, it is, I'm going to pay more in labor. It's got to have custom built jambs and that kind of stuff. I'll need to find a skilled carpenter to help with this. But I mean, these are just so unique. Behind here is an 8x4 foot beveled glass window. I've got some doors that are still, they've got transoms and the original trim. Unfortunately, it's in a pile so you can't see, but it's just so unique and interesting. And I grew up in old farmhouses. Actually, my mom's house was built in the 1684, I think, which is just really crazy to even think about that date, you know, in Albany, New York. And she moved in there after I was in college. I didn't grow up in that house, but I did grow up in some old farmhouses, like a Greek revival built in the 1800s. And I always thought that I would end up in an old farmhouse, but I had this opportunity to buy land from Danny, and so it's going to be new construction, but I want it to look old, to feel old, to be using all of old beautiful things that, you know, are just craftsmanship and strength and history. So when I was in Eagleville, I bought the porch posts. There is the gingerbread trim. On top of that, right here, right there, that was the old cot Danny's dad used to sleep on in the shed that was red and is now blue, but I didn't want to get rid of that. I might make it into a bench. And then here's all the lumber. Here's the hay trolley from the old barn. There's the lumber that I was able to save from the barn that we took down that was in the 1940s, that was built in the 1940s, the stock barn. I have a few videos of that. Here's a desk. This is why I went up to Bowling Green, was to buy this desk. And I hired Mark to put this metal top on, and I'm thinking maybe if I teach classes in the pole barn, or, you know, it'd be good for like floral design or whatever. It's an old desk, and I thought if I taught classes, it would just be a really interesting piece. So some bushel baskets. These windows I bought up in Springfield, Tennessee. These are going to go in the pole barn, and the 2 doors behind it are going to go in the pole barn also. So there's old feed bags from the barn on the property. There's 2 construction projects coming up. So this pole barn is getting moved onto a pad. I'm going to do a video of that soon because we're starting construction next week. And then the new barn, which is brand new construction, is basically going to be where that skid steer is. So some of these items are going to be part of the pole barn, which is where I'm going to be, you know, storing machinery and doing some classroom work. And then some is going to be in the big barn, which, you know, is going to have a different purpose. So pretty neat stuff. There's a drop leaf table. You can tell it's old because this is 1 plank, right? Like that's a big old tree. And you can see here based on the width, that's not new lumber. So it's got to be refinished, but I'm trying to get all this kind of old stuff.